When I first came here, it was 1934, November the 5th. You had to run with it. I rode so hard, been so nervous, you know. But I made it. I made it through all right. As far as I know, they doing okay. All but my wife, me and her not together now. When I got in trouble, she went on up the country. Where she at, I don't know. I try to keep it from rolling across my mind.
Have you ever heard of Mississippi State Penitentiary, also known as Parchman Penal Colony? I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. It's located in Sunflower, Mississippi and covers 18,000 acres. It's also Mississippi's only maximum security prison. It now has over 4,800 beds and it became operational in 1905. It was built by Mississippi prisoners, and it's a very large farm that used to include 3 separate farms. There was a small farm for white prisoners, a small farm for female prisoners, and then a large farm for African American male prisoners, which was most of the prison, and still is today. The men worked 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, and they had livestock, soybeans, cotton, poultry, you name it. Mississippi also had a policy at the time where they would rent out prisoners for labor. The prisoners were rented out to build railroads, tunnels using dynamite, which is obviously very dangerous. They worked in the sweltering heat at cotton farms. A lot of times they were forced to perform this labor at gunpoint, and they were severely punished if they didn't make the money for the prison that they were supposed to. The first year of leasing out these incarcerated men, the prison made about $185,000, which now would be over $7 million. The convict leasing policy didn't end until 1942. In the 1960s, over 300 freedom riders were put in Parchman, including John Lewis. Many were put in chain gangs as punishment. They were allowed only 1 shower per week and no mail. When they sang, their mattresses were removed. Because Governor Barnett promised to protect the freedom riders in exchange for their arrest, he famously told the warden, "Break their spirit, but not their bones." In 1972, 4 prisoners sued Parchman, saying their civil rights had been violated, that Parchman was infested with maggots and rats. Raw sewage was being dumped in public spaces, and prisoners were being severely abused and subjected to violence, and prisoners were being denied medical care. The courts found that black inmates were forced to live among twice the amount of people as white inmates. They were also more severely punished for the same infractions. The inmates won the case, and the prison was forced to integrate black and white prisoners, make the prison more inhabitable, and end the trustee system, which was when the white lifers, who the prison guards trusted, got to be armed with rifles to guard the other prisoners. In 2019, an inspection of the prison showed many health and safety concerns. Most of the toilets and sinks were broken, the kitchen was filthy, showers didn't work, there was faulty electric wiring, and a lot of prisoners didn't even have mattresses. By 2020, the only thing the prison had fixed is that the prisoners now had mattresses. 8 prisoners also died in the year 2020, either by suicide or violence. They also said they were shutting down an area called Unit 29 because it was unlivable, and as of now, it's still open and prisoners still live there.
That's crazy.
In April of 2022, the U.S. Department of Justice deemed Parchman inhumane. But I'm really not sure what we're doing about it.
I don't think we are just doing anything about it. It's the same thing that's going on in the state of Georgia, where the Attorney General has come in and said that, hey, this is in a violation. It's a clear violation, and we won't stand for this, but then we're still standing. Look, there is a prison in Mississippi Delta that has outlived generations. A prison born not simply out of criminal justice policy, but out of the ashes of slavery. Its official name is the Mississippi State Penitentiary. Most people know it as Parchman. For over a century, Parchman has stood as one of the most controversial and symbolic prisons in the United States. This is not just a story about crime. This is a story about history, about race, about labor, about neglect, about death, and about a modern fight involving federal courts, civil rights attorneys, and even artists like Jay-Z and Yo Gotti, who stepped into the legal battle over conditions inside its walls. To understand Parchman, we have to go back. From slavery to convict leasing. Hey man, this the more I dive off into this stuff, bro, because you can from afar you can say a prison is for bad people, and you know we've heard this story before, man, but let's dive in, bro.
Breaking news out of Parchman Penitentiary, where an inmate was killed in a riot today. The 4th inmate killed this week in the state.
12 News' Alex Love just arrived at the prison and brings us the latest. Alex? Well, what we know so far is here at the Mississippi Correctional Facility in Sunflower County, there was a riot earlier today and a fire set off in one unit. What I can tell you so far is, according to the Sunflower County Sheriff and the coroner, a 32-year-old man was stabbed and killed. There are reports other inmates were hurt, but it's not clear how badly their injuries are. That stabbing happened inside Unit 29, which is home to more than 1,500 prisoners as of right now. There was also a fire set inside Unit 30, but it was put out. Several agencies responded, including the Sunflower County Sheriff's Office, the Mississippi Highway Patrol, who also had 4 more units coming up here as I was driving with their lights on. But so far, it looks like the situation is under control from outside the gate. The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation also responded. We're told the situation around the whole yard is under control for now. This is the second riot this week at Parchman. There was another one Tuesday night where an inmate was stabbed and 3 others were hurt. I'll continue to follow more around the scene to see if we see any family members of inmates coming to see what's going on.
The blues did have its roots, and still does, in the prison.
Parchman was established in 1901, but its roots go back further, to the post-Civil War South. After slavery ended in 1865, Southern states faced a problem. How do you maintain a cheap labor force when slavery is illegal? The answer came in the form of convict leasing. Black men, often arrested for vague charges like vagrancy or loitering, were leased out to private landowners to perform forced labor. In Mississippi, this evolved into a plantation-style prison system. The state purchased 20,000 acres of fertile delta land and created what was essentially self-sustaining prison farm. Prisoners worked the fields. They harvested cotton. They lived under brutal discipline, and the system looked eerily familiar to what had existed just decades before. Parchman was not just a prison. It was a plantation with bars. Now, I'm going to try to play this, but if they're playing the music, I'm going to have to cut it down.
To me, I think this is how the blues actually started.
When I first came here, it was 1934, November the 5th. Parchman. We put it up there. You had to go ahead. Whatever you had you doing, you had to run with it. I rolled so hard until to go to eat dinner, I couldn't eat with a spoon and nothing to shake off. Been so nervous, you know. But I made it. I made it through all right. As far as I know, they doing okay. All but my wife, me and her not together now. When I got in trouble, she went on up the country. Where she at, I don't know. I try to keep it from rolling across my mind. I just get off to myself and just try to forget it. Sometimes I get my old shoe shine box here, shine somebody's shoes, make me 30 or 40 cents. I'm all right, I know what. I get back up on feet, get me a little cigarettes and things. So I'm making it pretty good. Don't have no cake coming. One of these days.
Can't do it. I might have to cut that down. Don't hit me with that. Damn, bro. I mean, for much of the 20th century, Parchman operated under the infamous trustee system. Certain inmates armed and given authority were allowed to control discipline and even punish other inmates. That remind me of the movie Life. He don't want to work, boss. Oh, my bad.
So I just started helping him sing.
Peaches I love on trees, low hop. All up, she pushed that started but
It's crazy, man.
woman
The United States Supreme Court would later condemn Mississippi prison system in Gates versus Collier in 1974, ruling that conditions at Parchman were unconstitutional and violated the 8th Amendment. Damn, bro. Damn.
In the past week, but health inspectors already have found issues with some of the conditions inside.
12 News' Kate Cornell is live in our studio now with official documents about the condition of the facilities. Kate.
Melanie, I looked into the Department of Health's 2019 annual inspection of prison facilities, the most recent one being this past June. The health department inspects the prison's facilities every year, and what they found this year was pretty grotesque in my opinion. The findings, according to these documents listed, are on the website. You'd not what they'd think they'd be up to standard, and they show us that these cells without running water, electricity, or pillows, broken glass and exposed wires, corroded shower floors, and even a bird's nest are shown inside the building, yet inmates are living in them. Coming up on 12 News at 6, I'll show you more from the health department's findings. Melanie and Byron.
Center in Tennessee. I'm also a member of the movement for Black Lives, and I am blessed to be here to say, you know what? Our people are people, and no people should be in cages. No people should be in cages. So I was just asked by my sister Tamika Mallory if I would sing with y'all today, and I know because I'm in Mississippi that y'all some singing people. So will y'all sing with me today? That did not sound enthusiastic. I said I just got off a plane. Well, y'all sing with me today. How many of y'all woke up this morning with your mind stayed on freedom? Like our freedom, for those of us that aren't in bondage, only being impacted by systemic oppression in all the ways that it impacts us outside of cages, but we're also here to make sure our people get free. That our people aren't in cages. Our people aren't in places where they're not getting adequate food, and they're not getting adequate water, and they're being tormented and terrorized by the police state. We're not doing it, right? So if you woke up this morning with your mind stayed on freedom, I want you to sing with me. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind.
We're gonna come back to that.
Today, Governor Tate Reeves held a news conference discussing issues impacting the state, including Mississippi education, the Pearl River flooding, and the Mississippi Department of Corrections. 12 News' Gary Burton was there and has the governor's decision regarding Parchman.
Governor Tate Reeves said that he's committed to giving updates on the decisions regarding Unit 29 of Parchman, and today he did just that. Governor Tate Reeves announced a major prison transfer from the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman's notorious Unit 29 to the Tallahatchie County Correctional Facility, and today was the beginning of the process to move the inmates out. This transfer is to find a temporary housing solution for those that couldn't be reclassified or swapped for lower custody level inmates. It requires a lot of work and consideration to make these transfers safe for the inmates and the staff. The first group of transfers today attempted to bring 7 shanks, 10 illegal cell phones, and a bag of marijuana with them. Also, to get the best deals for the taxpayers of Mississippi, the Reeves administration has renegotiated the price to house these transfers.
It's nearly a 5% reduction in cost from the original contract, so from $65 a day per prisoner down to $62.50 per prisoner. That's in line with the market rate for these close custody prisoners, people who require a single cell or one roommate rather than an open bay environment.
Now, once these transfers are complete, the only parts of Unit 29 that will remain in operation are death row and a support services building that helps maintain the rest of the prison. For now, reporting in Jackson, Gary Burton, 12 News.
Let me begin by saying we've been working throughout the last 2 weeks, particularly this weekend, very intensely with the Department of Corrections, Department of Public Safety. The Highway Patrol has been on the scene there for the past 72 hours. Order has been restored. We have command and control of both Unit 29 and 32. The inmates' needs are being met. Fresh bottled water was brought in this morning. The food service is intensified to make sure that we get the meals necessary to them. We talked earlier today about any prescription medication that the inmates may need so that we can bring that to them and make sure that we have a plan going forward, not only for their care, but also the protection of the guards that work there. The employees of the Department of Corrections are my first concerns there within that correctional facility. It has been a tragic week. Gangs not only take lives within correctional facilities, but on the streets of Jackson. We had intense work by all of our law enforcement officers throughout the last several years, concentrating on gangs in the capital city and throughout the state of Mississippi. They are a real threat. They continue to be a threat. Someone asked earlier who's responsible for what's happening at Parchman. The inmates. The inmates are the ones that take each other's lives. The inmates are the one that...
Hey, let me say this. If these human beings, aka inmates, are housed in a secure facility and are that facility is structured in an effective manner, there won't be any unalivings. That's the proven truth. That's the responsibility of the the Mississippi Department of Corrections. The situation is the same. The name is interchangeable, but it's all the same bullshit over and over again. All I see is people of color fresh off the plantation, bro. This one here, we're going to Angola after this, but right now in Mississippi, bro, it reeks of the movie Life, bro. It reeks of it.
Fashion weapons out of metal. The inmates are the one that do the damage to the very rooms that they are living in there. So I would say you look to the inmates. There is no one that's perpetrating them to commit crimes within inside those walls of the penitentiary. We are going to stop it. We have it under control as best we can. Prisons are difficult to manage under the best of circumstances. So we need more personnel. Obviously, it would be better if we had more people working in the prisons. At $25,000 a year to work in Parchman, it's not always easy to find the people that want to dedicate themselves to a career in corrections. We need to work on that. We need to fix that. And so we'll move forward with a plan of how that we can not only maintain currently the standards that we expect at Parchman, custody and control of the inmates, but also what does the future look like? What does the next 4 years look like for the Department of Corrections, and improvements must be made?
The cell phones, the videos, what I found so staggering. We've seen these in county jails, but these guys have cell phones and they're putting social media out from inside the prison.
They are not now, but they were. And again, someone is bringing in those cell phones, so we have ongoing investigations to try to identify how they got those cell phones, how they're getting other contraband into the prisons, and people will be held accountable. It is against the law to bring something into a prison that's should not legally be held by a prisoner, and so those individuals that are bringing this in will be charged if we can identify them, and we are working hard to make sure that we have the capability of doing that and stopping contraband from coming back into the prison.
Governor, hindsight is 2020. You tweeted, I think it was yesterday, that there needs to be investments made into the corrections system. Do you wish that...
2020, I've been saying that for the past 4 years. You can look back at when we made presentations to the Budget Committee and saying you've got to invest in the prisons. We passed criminal justice reform so we could try to move some of those nonviolent offenders out to make more room for the really violent offenders that need to be there. But this is a whole new level. When you look at the capital city, and we've had some 78 murders in 2019, and so we had 5 tragic losses of life within the Department of Corrections, but this capital city has almost 80 people that have been murdered. Gangs are a real threat. Not only do we need more support within the Department of Corrections, but law enforcement needs all our support to be able to stop the gang activity that's going on each and every day on the Capitol streets and in our prisons.
You believe in the city of Jackson, the streets. You also say they're not being funded.
I'm not blaming, I'm stating a fact. The fact is there's been 79 murders in the state of Mississippi, in the state of Mississippi's capital city in Jackson in 2018. That's a fact. Much of it is drug-related and gang-related.
Understanding that, once they get to Parchman, it's then the state's responsibility to take care of them. Have you been taking care of them despite, you say, gang affiliations, things of that nature?
You know, you can take care of people that want to comply to the rules. When you fashion weapons to try to intimidate and kill and murder other inmates, it is difficult for us to always manage that at 100%.
Is MDOC in peril? Is there a problem within our prison system now that needs to be addressed?
There's always been a problem within the prison system. When you're trying to manage, Parchman has 3,500 inmates. When you're trying to manage 35 inmates, many of them are violent inmates. That's a problem. I've been in correctional facilities. I've worked in jails. It is not easy under the best of circumstances. There's not a state in America that won't tell you that they need more correctional officers, that they need more prisons. The escalating crime problem continues, and we're managing it, I think, as well as we can under the current circumstances.
Should Mississippi comply with a federal investigation if one is deemed to be appropriate?
Yeah, we're conducting an investigation just now. If somebody wants to come in and provide assistance to that, I would certainly welcome it. I would also encourage them to begin the investigation on the streets of the capital city and throughout the state of Mississippi to try to apprehend more of these criminals that are involved in gangs and are starting at even an earlier age.
Can you shed light then on the gangs that we're finding? MDOC has not provided a lot of information about specifics.
You know, I really can't. There's an investigation going on, and whenever that occurs, we are trying to be as open as we can be without giving away information that the other side might be able to use. And that's the other thing. There's some irresponsible reporting going on, picking up some videos that inmates are putting out.
It's the same dialogue, bro, just a different
And welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for 12 News at 5. I'm Byron Brown.
And I'm Melanie Christopher. First at 5, the death of 2 Parchman inmates killed last night.
Well, as we learn more about what happened, the governor is now reacting. 12 News' Alex Love joins us now in studio with more. Alex?
Well, since New Year's Eve, there has been a total of 9 inmate deaths inside the Mississippi prison system, most of which have happened at the Parchman jail. One of the inmates has been identified by the Sunflower County coroner as Timothy Hudspeth, who was found dead in his bed inside of the Unit 30B building. The second inmate has yet to be identified until his family is notified by the Parchman staff. Autopsies show the 2 suffered from beatings by blunt objects. Though Parchman has been the center of gang violence the past couple of weeks, MDOC stated this is believed to be an isolated incident, not related to the first riots. The investigation is still ongoing, and Governor Tate Reeves is now taking notice.
Challenges that we've had over the last several weeks is there has been a lot of misinformation out there, and so I certainly don't want to contribute to more misinformation. I will tell you that it appears at this time that these were isolated incidents, that they were not related to the gang violence that led to a number of occurrences several weeks ago. These appear to be isolated incidents that are not related to that.
Since taking office, Governor Reeves has put together a committee to search nationwide.
That's one thing we have not done in the state of Georgia. We have not heard from the governor.
News Kate Cornell is live in our studios with this exclusive story. Kate, you say you have a family that's grieving and they don't have a lot of information. What else can you tell us?
Walt, I can tell you that Michael Anderson's mother, Jessica, told me that he was killed by another inmate in Mississippi State Penitentiary in November. She says that MSP's chaplain told her that he was stabbed 9 times and that the argument was over a cell phone, but that was it, and that there are many gaps to be filled in. She says that she questions the prison's authority, wondering how they could possibly be trusted with an inmate's life while they couldn't even manage a cell phone.
I don't think it's enough guards. Whatever is going on in there, it's not right. Something there is not right because they're not telling me something. I don't know if they're trying to hide something or what, but it was something that they're not telling me.
Jessica says he had been working hard towards rehabilitation, going to church, and getting his GED. Coming up at 5, we'll hear more from Jessica about how MSP has handled the situation. Jade and Walt.
Well, an inmate is killed after a fight breaks out at the state penitentiary at Parchman.
Statewide unrest continues inside Mississippi's prison system. As Alice Love reports, staffing issues could be a key factor.
I'm standing right outside the front.
Hey, man. Damn, bro. What if this is a conspiracy? What if this is a structured attack on people of color by way of, I know these people are incarcerated, but isn't the state responsible for rehabilitating these individuals? And if not, then what are you guys doing? And why is it? It's the South. I'm just in the South, so that's all I know, bro. I was blinded by, it's just Georgia. And I had some homies from some different states give me a call. Bro, it's Alabama, it's Mississippi, it's the Kakalakis, it's Florida. It's Florida. It's crazy, man. It's a lot, bro. But there are several things that remain the same. The color of the people who are dying and the color of the people that's in charge. I'm not saying that these people are innocent. I'm saying that when I start looking at society and how this shit broke down and how crime is the culture, we should be awarded for this bullshit, and I'm looking at the backdraft of everything, it looked like an intricate plot, man. It looked like a fool-ass chess move to me, man. Yeah, let's get a little bit more, man, then we're gonna get up out of here. Damn, bro.
Well, new tonight at 5, another dead inmate inside Mississippi's highest security prison in Parchman. This comes 2 days after 2 other inmates died after a fight inside the same prison, and nearly 4 days after another inmate hung himself. On Twitter, the Mississippi Department of Corrections says this latest inmate also died by suicide. The local coroner says he hung himself this morning. This is the 8th death reported just at Parchman this month alone. The deaths are bringing national attention to terrible conditions inside Mississippi prisons and also bringing lawsuits. Well-known attorney Carlos Moore is representing the families of 13 Parchman inmates who were reportedly killed or injured from August of 20.
Hey man, listen, Parchman prison has existed for over 120 years. It has survived legal challenges. It has survived public outrage. It has survived federal intervention, but survival is not success. The question is not whether Parchman can continue operating. The question is, will it ever truly transform? Because prisons do not just house people, they reflect values. And if a prison born from slavery still struggles with humanity, then perhaps the work is not finished. Perhaps reform is not optional. Perhaps Parchman is not just Mississippi's responsibility. Perhaps it's America's. Y'all get in that comment section, let me know what y'all think, man. I'm diving deep. I'm gonna dive deep. Damn.